Hello everyone, this video is going to be a little bit different than my normal videos. I'm going to be comparing Arcane Showdown, which is this game right here, to Minion Masters, a game that I'm sure you're all familiar with. Helping me with this is one of my friends, Alkin.
Hey guys, I'm Malcolm Farseer. I play Minion Masters a lot with the professional, and I'm glad to help out with the video.
Awesome. So a general overview of Arcane Showdown is that it is similar to Minion Masters in that it's a real-time strategy game that you construct your deck from cards you've collected, but that's kind of where most of the similarities stop. When it comes to map designs, Arcane Showdown has a lot more strategic elements, like it prioritizes taking out turrets to earn victory points, and it has different mana generators on the map that you can take control of, and that ups your amount of mana. Like in Minion Masters, the amount of mana you get increases over time, but in Arcane Showdown, it's directly linked to the amount of mana generators you currently control.
And your mana that you're generating comes from the actual mana generators you build on the actual battlefield.
And I'm guessing this is because Arcane Showdown is a much newer game, but it is very lacking in the amount of cards that you are able to use, especially in the beginning of the game. You have just like a couple cards and you just have to deal with it. You aren't able to pick the cards you unlock like in Minion Masters. So in Minion Masters you get shards to unlock cards that you want, but in Arcane Showdown you just have to go through and hope you get it from the random cards you get.
And in Arcane Showdown, you receive them by leveling up your profile level, and you do that by like getting you get cards by leveling up your profile level and getting trophies for playing games. So when you play games and win games, you get trophies that increase your overall, I think, like ranking, or increase your overall amount of trophies you have, which gets you just more cards. And if you win games more, you get more trophies. If you lose games, you get less trophies.
So talking more about the different cards and how it's different than in Minion Masters, different cards have tiers. So tier 1 is what you start at the beginning of the game, and then if you want to unlock tier 2 and tier 3, you have to pay mana, a substantial amount of mana, to unlock those tiers, and then you get access to those cards. So the win conditions in this game are very different than in Minion Masters. In Minion Masters, your win condition is just killing your opponent's tower. And in Arcane Showdown, very rarely will you actually end the game by killing your opponent's, I guess, mage is what's called in this game, or something like that. What it normally comes down to, at least in my games, is killing towers. So each team has 2 to 3 towers, depending on the map, and whenever you kill one of the towers, you get a victory point. And whoever has the most victory points at the end wins. If you're tied in victory points, you'll go into an overtime mode. And if the overtime mode ends, it'll end in a draw, which draws happen a lot more often in this game than in Minion Masters.
So deck construction in Arcane Showdown, there are only 8 cards in your deck, and no wild cards. So you don't have wild cards like Mini Masters where you can double up on cards or triple up on one card, and kind of promote some strategy in that sense. But there is no deck cycling in Arcane Showdown. So in Mini Masters, we know that we had a random order of cards that we get at the beginning of the game, and you put them down, and then you'll get another card into your hand, and it'll cycle through your deck that way. In Arcane Showdown, you have actually all your cards at the bottom of the screen listed for you. Each have cooldowns once you play them. And so because of this, you're able to respond to people without having to cycle to a card to get it. But it's also worth noting that this is not necessarily a downside that Minion Masters has cycling and that Arcane Showdown doesn't. Because cycling is really important in Minion Masters too. It really promotes your deck construction in Minion Masters, and you have to build your deck around having to cycle through it and get back to wherever you were before. But at the same time, in Arcane Showdown, you have this lack of randomization in your deck, and you're able to see everything out in front of you and all your answers for you. So it can make a little bit more consistency when you're playing a game. You know how your deck should function, and if you have a very niche deck, you won't be destroyed if you just don't have the right cards that come up when you need to, because they're all in front of you and you can use them when you need to. So in addition to that, Mini Masters has Masters for their tower, while Arcane Showdown has something called Guardians. So in Mini Masters, you kind of, depending on the master you chose, which stood on your tower and augmented your attack, your defensive attack for your tower, and also promoted that had some passives like Morelia with her cursed passives in her book that she can use, or like Ravager, and you know what I'm saying. Arcane
Mm-hmm.
Showdown has something called Guardians, which you can place down in the game, and they have active abilities where you place them down. They actually join you on the battlefield, and they sometimes you can place them behind enemy lines, or they'll buff your units around them, or different guardians can do different things. And they also have a passive. So, for instance, the guardian I like to use right now, Arthur, he's like a little eagle, and his passive is he buffs up all of my towers. They get more health. All the structures I play get more health. And his active is he puts down a guardian on the field. He puts down like a knight on the field that shields everybody around him. So that's how guardians function in the game.
So next, I'll talk about how you actually acquire cards and how you upgrade them. Here in the daily deals, you're able to upgrade and get shards for specific cards. Minion Masters has a similar thing, but they use wild cards instead of actually improving your card, which I prefer that more in Minion Masters, where everyone's on the same playing field.
Because in Arcane Showdown, being able to level up your card and make it more powerful, like objectively, like it gets more attack and health. And I'm not sure exactly what the max level for a card is, but you can continue to level it and continue to make it stronger. Which means that, I mean, if you're going up against somebody who has like maybe a slightly lower level card than you do, your card objectively wins that trade between those two same mono level cards, which definitely it makes it feel very much like somebody who just plays the game more, plays more in the game, can just get stronger cards and beat you.
So in Minion Masters, there are different factions and different synergies you can go for, like the Empyrean. If you make an Empyrean deck, it empowers your Empyrean cards. In Arcane Showdown, there are different factions. Like this one right here is in the Order minion, which you can see up here, and that synergizes with other Order minions. Not really. There isn't a lot of synergy in this game, which I don't really like. I like having a goal in mind for a deck, but in this deck, it's just what do you have that you like the most that enables you to take your victory points.
Even though there are a lot of factions in Arcane Showdown, it doesn't seem that synergizing with other faction cards really helps you all that much in the game. There are quests that you can do in Arcane Showdown where if you level up a certain number of cards of a faction, you get pluses to their overall level or things like that, or pluses to those cards. So playing with them can help. Also, leveling up cards in a faction can help the other cards in that faction as well. However, in terms of like actual like abilities and things that augment them in the game, there's really not much synergy there.
Another thing that Arcane Showdown has that Minion Masters does not is called runes. So as you see here, this card has a rune. When every 20 seconds, they'll place down a duck. That just kind of tanks for the card. These runes are really hard to get, and they can be incredibly powerful. And if someone's lucky enough to get it for their card, that means that their card is, if they play the same card as you, theirs is probably quite a bit stronger. So runes, I'm not sure how I feel about the rune system. I think they should make it easier to get runes. I think they should make everything easier to get in this game.
It is interesting how so the runes do like for some cards in Arcane Showdown, they make it a very different card. Like they augment their ability and make it more strategic to use. Like, oh, you'll have like with the cannon or the gunner, you have the duck that comes down in front of you, which can take some damage, and so you can use it in different situations now than you could before, and that's kind of cool. I do like that, but the fact that it's very hard to get the runes, and the fact that they make them so much more powerful in some circumstances, can be kind of annoying.
Yeah, and talking about the gunner for this, whenever I place down my gunner, since I have the duck, and if other people play down their gunner, my gunner always wins those trades. Like, and that's massive because it's a 6 mana card, and mine is just better than my opponent's. Along the lines of unlocking more cards is the Battle Pass is one of the best ways in most games to get stuff. In Arcane Showdown, the Battle Pass costs $20, and you can see you have to pay actual money to get that. You can't pay the in-game currency, which means you are not able to earn the Battle Pass through just playing the game. In Minion Masters, they're very generous about giving you rubies. I guess they did decrease the amount of rubies that you get, but I still feel like they give you a decent amount, especially if you get higher ranks in multiple modes. Yes, for how little is in the game, they are charging a lot for it. And compared to the $20 this battle pass is, Minion Masters, their battle pass is $7 to $8, and you can buy it with rubies, as we said. And so a lot of time you don't even need to pay money. You're just able to get it.
Yeah, Arcane Showdown forces you to pay money. There's no other option other than paying money to get the battle pass, it seems, along with other things that they offer.
The amount of content that's being released is similar. The reason I'm guessing Arcane Showdown has less content is because it's just a newer game. And so compared to Minion Masters, both of them have regularly monthly updates where they do balance changes and add a couple more cards. So yeah, you'll be getting more content in both games.
Yeah, I think it is, especially, like, we definitely have to stress that the game is new. It's a lot newer. Like, I think Arcane Showdown came out in 2020, early 2020. And then it really recently got to Steam, so you can play it online and things like that, and on the computer. And because it's so new, they're still trying to figure things out. Still trying to see what works for them and their type of game they have going on. So a lot of the things we're saying now might not necessarily hold up later, if they change things around and add new cards and maybe change the way they do things, money and strategy. But that being said, I mean, it is a new game, but still the updates do seem to be similar to Mini Masters overall. So. Yeah.
Right. All right. Now we're gonna do an actual cast of a game and explain how the game works and our strategies behind the different plays we're going for. So right off the bat, you see on the far left, you have that wand. And so you put that wand on the different zones so you can upgrade them. What I put it on there is called a mana zone.
Yeah, so as we saw, we started out the game, we put these little black squares you see on the screen. You put your mana stick where you see your mana wand on the left that costs 4 mana. When you place those down in those squares, it expands that side of the map for you. So it enhances your control on that side of the map. So when those finish generating, which we did on the left side in the beginning of the game, it'll go up. Your territory will expand. The blue sphere, blue line will expand forward, and you'll be able to then claim those mana, the little yellow dots, which are the mana spots, on the mana generation spots on the map. We're slowly expanding our territory and getting mana while we're doing this with our mana wand.
Yep, now we're just trying to get as much territory as you can.
We have to actually upgrade towers in this to make them actually hit things. So they don't attack off the bat. You actually have to upgrade them.
And then, as you saw, I clicked on the tier 2 thing, which makes me start upgrading to tier 2, and you can see that's upgrading over time.
Yep, and when the cards become lit up, you're able to play those tier 2 units.
And now I have access to those 3 cards. Play down the troll tank. The troll's like the living statue, just attacks structures.
And Professionals champion just came up on the right.
It does not cost any mana to play. It's just a time thing. You can denote a guardian by the little circle underneath them.
And you see that all of our mana things are fully upgraded, that you can upgrade it twice. And it's just a big yellow crystal as opposed to a small little crystal. And when it is destroyed, as you'll see here, it will temporarily not be able to build on it, but it will come back. The spot will come back to build on it again later.
Now I'm trying to push real hard and in the game, so I'm upgrading to tier 3 to get my more powerful units, because now I have the mana to support it, and I feel like I'm at a spot in the game where I can.
So right now, as you see, it's 0-0 at the top with 30 seconds left. So if it still stays 0-0, it'll go into overtime. However, if we get a tower, we'll get a victory point and we'll win. So that's what we're
Right.
trying to
So
go
we're doing a big boy push mid here
and top,
and
yeah.
and top to divide their attention, and we'll be able to get that. We got a tower actually.
And you see how the map is so big and so expansive, and there's just like all the territories on different sides are expanding, and it's just very strategic in that sense. So.
Mm-hmm.
Duel 1.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I hope y'all take a look at Arcane Showdown. It's a good game, and if we get anything wrong, these are our opinions. I haven't played this game super long, but I felt like I played it enough to be able to use my knowledge to compare them and give my
Yeah, it's been a lot
thoughts.
of fun, and each game is great, and we really do like playing each game. And we understand that Mini Masters is an older game than Arcane Showdown in the sense that it has more experience and has those more cards. But Arcane Showdown does have that strategy with the turrets and the map building, and that seems really cool too. So we really enjoy each game and want to keep playing them.
Yeah. Well, thanks y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all